Hello and welcome back to Oliver Clapworthing Music, and in today's video is another long form interview with the Bristol singer-songwriter Lulu, so let's get straight into it. So I'm now joined by Bristol-based singer-songwriter Lulu, so explain who you are, where you come from.
Right. I'm Lulu. I'm a singer-songwriter. I play mainly acoustic guitar while I sing. I don't really like playing other instruments with my songs, but I do play a few other things. I play guitar, bass, ukulele, violin, and piano, but my songs are all just acoustic guitar and me. I was born and raised in Bristol, but when I say that, a lot of people think I mean the city. But there are bits of Bristol outside of the centre. I'm from like a little village on the outskirts called Warmley. It's not fun. One bus to the centre and it stops after about 10 p.m. So it's not the best, but it's quite cute.
So, what was your first exposure to music as a whole? What was your first memory of music?
I mean, I've always been around it. Neither of my parents are musicians, but they were both like super, like music was their life. Like my mum used to say to me when she was revising for her GCSEs, her dad would say, I wish you'd remember your maths as much as you remembered your song lyrics because she always loved it. But my dad, he's like a tradesman, like he was an electrician, but he taught me guitar. And the first song he taught me was Come As You Are by Nirvana, just like the little bass line. And like from then on, I've got two older sisters and they never really wanted to pick it up as much, but me, I was just like, I have to play it all the time. And it's gotten to the point now, like if I go to a guitar shop with my dad, the guy serving us will think they'll be like, oh, teach her well. And he's like, when we get home, she's going to teach me songs. And I just like, yeah, I've always been playing it my whole life. I've always been singing, but it's like guitar was the first thing that I just instantly loved.
What was your like what are your influences? What influenced you into like this is what I want to do. This is how I want to perform.
It's really funny because my main influences are the complete opposite of how I sing. Like my favorite singer, my favorite performer, just my favorite person on earth is Kurt Cobain, who's like the complete other end of the spectrum of my kind of music. But there's just something about the way he sang his songs with like so much feeling and the emotion he put into all of his performances. And he was just so uniquely himself. He just completely inspired me to be like, this is what I want to do with my life. Like I want to be like him, except minus some of the other things that he did. But his main life, I just completely like I resonated with him so well. I also listened to a lot of Amy Winehouse growing up, who's like my main inspiration. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but I've got like the little Monroe piercing as like a tribute to Amy Winehouse because I just think she's amazing. I just when I go out, I do like my big Amy Winehouse eyeliner and all that. And then like I also really like country, like Johnny Cash as well has also really inspired me and his whole vibe. I recently at a gig performed a version of Back to Black by Amy Winehouse, but inspired by Johnny Cash's like country
Okay.
vibe and like rewrote it. And it was really, I don't know, it's like my two favorite things combined.
I'm struggling to picture that, to be honest.
It's like I changed the chords a little bit so they're minor when they should be major, and I wrote like a Spanish guitar-y kind of intro. I made it sound kind of endgamey. I don't have my guitar with me right now, but there's a video somewhere on the internet, I think, of me singing it on my Instagram.
Okay. What's your first gig that you ever played?
Oh, are we counting as Lulu or are we counting just in life
Just
ever?
in life.
I was 9 years old and I got invited to sing as part of a choir at the Bristol Beacon. Um, and I was a really little, I'm 5'4" now, which is average height, but I was a really diddy little child. I was really small and I got to stand right at the front. And my mum was so happy because we got like a DVD made and you can see me stood there like my bright green t-shirt right at the front. And we sang some Beatles songs. We had Let It Be. We sang If I Only Had a Brain, Land of Hope and Glory, and like it was just like this big collective, a load of kids singing. Because I always did choir and musical theatre when I was in primary school, but that was like I'd done like school performances, but my first ever gig was at the Bristol Beacon.
That's pretty solid for a first gig,
It was
to be
pretty
fair.
good. I didn't understand like the importance of it when I was 9, and then I went again in college because my college had ties with like their music scheme. But when I was there in college, I saw the names on the steps and I was like, this was the first place I performed, and it's quite an important music hall. Like it's very, I don't know, it's quite a solid first gig. Pretty good with that.
What's your best gig you've ever done?
I'd say I did one, I think it was in April or May of this year, and it was my first ever headline. And my friend put it on, drummer of Deep Sleep Dreamers,
Oh
put it on.
yeah,
And he did an acoustic night and he was like, I really want you to headline. So I did. And my set was about to be 50 minutes, I think. And I played that. And then people just kept asking for more songs. And I played on for like 20 minutes more. And until I got to the point, I was like, guys, I can't remember any more songs. Can I go to the pub now? It's over. And that was just like, I don't know, it was amazing. I sang Valerie by Amy Winehouse and like everyone was singing along. And because I was just, again, on my guitar, there were half the people in the crowd were going, do, 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 do. And the other half was singing along. And it was such like, I don't know, it was such like, it gave me chills, like hearing people sing music. And I also had a song that I'd recently released called Poison Ivy. And my friends at the front sang along to like the end of it. And that like gave me like goosebumps. I was like, people were singing my music that I just wrote in my bedroom and thought it was just like a random song. And now people are singing it back at me. And even though it's like such a small space, it was still like, this is what I want to do for a career.
and obviously Who Killed Bunny did an acoustic set that night.
Yeah, they opened for me and they were so good. Oh my God, it was amazing. I got all my friends from college to come and they were sat there and they're like, "Oh, the singer has such a beautiful voice. Your friends are so talented. They're so cool." Because yeah, I'd been bigging them up to them the whole night and they finally got to see them, which was really nice.
And obviously go and watch my interview with Who Killed Bunny that I released a couple of weeks ago as well.
Obviously.
Shameless self plug.
As you should.
So we'll go right to the opposite end of the spectrum. What's the worst gig you've ever done and why?
Mm,
Tell me a
from
story.
It was about 2 weeks ago. I've got two quite bad gig stories. Can I tell them both?
Yes, go for it.
We'll go for my worst one. It was 2 weeks ago, and I was in uni about 4:15 in the afternoon. I get a call from Taylor from Deep Sleep Dreamers going, can you open for a gig tonight? You probably won't be needed, but you might be. And I was like, well, can I go to my seminar first? And he goes, yeah, you've got time. I'm on the bus home. The bus is late. The bus has just stopped randomly in the middle of the road. Me and Lilybell think it's broken down. Get a call from Taylor. Oh, we definitely need you to open. And I was like, it's like 5:30. What time do I need to be there? And he was like, 7. And I wasn't even on the way back to my own house. I was on my way to stay at my boyfriend's. So I had to borrow Friday's guitar because Friday lives with my boyfriend, which I normally play with nylon strings. Friday had a full metal set and was a bit bigger than my guitar. So I've got this guitar that isn't mine. I didn't have a capper, so I had to borrow that from another opener. I do my sound check, it's all amazing. One of the guys from ASR came up to me and was like, can you like shorten it a little bit? And I was like, okay, that's fine. I just won't do Creep. So I didn't practice Creep by Radiohead because that was going to be my closing song. I get on stage, I perform a decent gig. I was quite proud with it considering I'd only practiced once. And then everyone's like, one more song, play Creep. And I don't know what happened, but oh, I'm not going to swear, but I really fumbled it. I messed up the chords, I forgot the lyrics, and I just stopped. And then I just went, why are you still here? The set's over. And walked off stage.
Oh, that's not great. But
Oh,
credit to Taylor. He was pretty stressed that day. Like
yeah.
yeah.
The set would have been great if it wasn't for that last song, and that is going to keep me up at night. I called my mum afterwards. I was upstairs and I was crying. I was like, Mum, I'm never going to be a musician. That was the worst thing I've ever done. And she went, have you been drinking? And I went, yeah, I had two double pink gins, but I'm not drunk. And she went, maybe stop drinking because that's just going to make you worse. And then we had a little chat and I carried on crying. And she went, all right, go back in, watch your friends play, have a shot, shake yourself off, and you'll feel fine in the morning. And I did those things and I didn't feel fine for about a week. I still cringe thinking about it. Wasn't the best. Another quite bad gig story I have is my first ever solo gig. I performed at Keynsham Music Festival and they wanted me on the kids stage and I was 18 And it was quite good because I drew people in. Like people were walking past the tent and they were like stopping and staring. But there was a ping pong table right next to the stage. So in all the video footage of that gig, you can just hear bloody children playing ping pong in the background. And everyone was like, who was going to shut those kids up?
Okay.
Yeah. It's a bit, I've had quite a few wacky, strange gigs, but those are the two that stick with me the most.
I actually thought the DSD one went really well for you, but it turns
Really?
out not.
That's what everyone says. Everyone loved it, but in my head, I think if I ignore the Creep song, the set was amazing. Brilliant. Well done, Lulu. I will say that, not to like blow smoke or anything, but I just think it was quite good. But then it was that one last song that completely just, that's all that sticks with me. But it's okay because the show must go wrong. The show doesn't go on, it goes wrong.
Okay. But what's your favourite song to perform?
That's really, this changes a lot. My own song that I've written to perform, it will always be Poison Ivy because that is the one people sing along to. That is the one. When I first wrote that song, I hated it. And then I played it to my flatmate and she was like, that's amazing. And then I learned to love it a bit more. But people ask me to play that one. People sing along to it. Like it's the first song I released. It will always be my favorite because like I really like there's like a I mean guys go listen to it if you want to know what the bit that I like singing sounds like. But there's a bit right at the end where just completely I like really project because I'm not a very loud singer and I probably project and I'm like, said I make you feel sick? Are you fucking allergic? Because that's based off something someone said to me once. I was seeing a guy and then we broke up and we were still friends and he was like, I feel sick whenever I'm around you. And I thought, is that meant to be a compliment? And then I told my manager who I used to work for about it and he went, is he allergic to you? What's he saying? So then I turned it into a lyric.
You take bad experiences and turn them into something
That's all of
musical.
my songs. That's all of my songs. My mum's asked me to start writing happier songs. She's like, please, can you do a happy one just for once?
What's your least favourite song to perform?
I'd say the sister song to Poison Ivy is called Trust. I released it at the same time as Poison Ivy, and I used to love it. And now there's just something about it. I just get bored playing it. And I don't want to because you can tell when someone's bored performing. But it's just like a lot of my songs are like two chords of three, four chords just over and over again. But there's something about those two chords, as though they sound pretty. I just kind of think I could have added more, maybe in the lyrics or maybe in the melody that I sing. I just like, now I get so bored of it. And now Creep is also one of my least favorite songs to perform.
So what was it like growing up in the Bristol music scene? Because obviously I'm not from Bristol. I'm from Exeter,
Yeah,
a smaller city. So what was
yeah.
it like?
I mean, I can't really speak on that much because I come from such a small village. I didn't even realize Bristol was a big music city until I went to college because I went to college in Brislington, which is like right next to the city. And that's when I started getting more into the music scene and getting opportunities for gigs. I didn't do any gigging until the end of college because I don't know, even though I did a music BTech, I didn't really know any opportunities. So I can't really speak much about what it is like being on the music scene because I just never really had any exposure to it. I went to a school in a little villagey area. No one really knew anything about music or wanted to do it. So it was quite weird. I was going to study history or science. Like I didn't think I had the opportunity to do music like this. But now I'm experiencing it with everyone else. It's amazing. And I wish I knew more about it when I was younger because I could have done so much more.
Yeah, I think that's the same with me really. Although I don't really like performing.
Yeah.
I can't stand performing. I
Really?
like performing in uni. I like those performance classes, but
Yeah.
I can't. Basically, I'm a drummer. I don't want to carry my gear around everywhere because I can't be bothered to.
True. True. I forget that. I forget what it's like for people who play like big heavy instruments. I've just got my little guitar and that's all I have to worry about.
Plus, I wouldn't like the fact of waiting to perform on stage or performing on stage. It's nerve wracking.
Yeah, it is. I always get so nervous. Like I get so in my own head. I'm my own worst critic. And like I know that I'm gonna be good because I'm not being funny. If I didn't know I was good, I wouldn't be choosing to do it as a career. But there's still something even now I get on the stage, I'm like, ooh, this is I just get to in my own head, I'm like, this is make or break. If I mess this up, I'll never do it again, which is ridiculous to think.
So, if you were to go back and do the exchange basement show again, like, what would you have done differently?
I would not play creep and I would have been like, I can't play creep for you, but here's an Amy Winehouse cover or here's a song that I wrote a week ago. And I would have just done a completely different song and not gotten as messed up about it.
But big ups to Deep Sleep Dreamers for having you on, and go watch my review of Grave when it releases. Another shameless self plug.
25th of October.
Yes, 25th of October. That's on a
Yeah.
Friday, is it not?
I think so, yeah.
Yes. Yes, it is. On a Friday.
Yeah.
And also, they're playing the. Actually, they would have already played the Old England when this
Oh yeah,
comes out.
yeah, sure.
So, my next question is like, what do you want to do in the future? Like, where do you want to try and get to?
I mean, I just want to keep releasing music. The main goal is obviously I'd love to be like rich and famous, but the main goal is just make enough money off my music to survive. But there are a lot of things I want to do with my life. Like I've been saying, once I finish uni, alongside doing my music, I'd really like to go into body piercing as well, because I've got quite a few piercings. I think it's really interesting. But the main goal is just like keep releasing my music. I'm planning on going to Camp America in the summer and teaching children with learning difficulties music over at the camps. If I save up enough money to get the visa checks and stuff, but I'd quite like to do a little bit of teaching, but that's not my main goal. I just want to kind of do that as a side thing as well. Because I don't know, I did it once at my old primary school. I volunteered and it was all like 4 to 11-year-olds, and it was so fun. They all thought I was a rock star, and they kept coming up to me being like, "Are you famous?" And I was like, "Not yet. Ask me in 10 years, maybe."
So, if you could, if there was any song you wish you could have written, what would it be and why?
There's so many. I actually need to have a think about this. This is such a hard to answer question because it so many songs you just listen to and they just hit the nail right on the head. I kind of wish I wrote I don't know if you'll know this song. At the moment, if you asked me this like a week ago, it would be a different answer, or in a year's time, it would be a different answer. But at the moment, I really wish I wrote Found You by the Alabama Shakes. It's like a soul song. And it's I really want to be able to write love songs. Every time I write a love song, I find it really cringe or I just get like I'm used to being like a bit moody, but it's just such a beautiful song. Like it makes me want to cry. And it's really good. They play it in one of my favorite TV series, well, my favorite TV series, New Girl. And it's such like a really sweet, gentle song, and then it builds up like this massive, like soul belting chorus and then drops back down again. It's just so beautiful.
So, I'm gonna give you a list of Bristol venues, and I want you to give them a score out of 10.
Oh dear.
So, the first one is the Louisiana.
10 out of 10. I really want to perform there. I keep emailing them. I've just got to keep knocking on the door and eventually they'll give up and open it.
I mean, I'd give Louisiana a 7 out of 10. I've only ever been to one gig there. I went to see Break for Lovers in May when they
Mm,
supported my favourite band Die Twice.
hmm.
So it was alright. The crowd was a little just like not atmospheric, but
That's the thing.
the bands played a great set. Um, and what's your score next on the exchange as a whole? Main room and basement as a whole.
I'd give that an 8.5 out of 10. I feel like it's a really nice venue and it's next to Long Bar, which is a nice cheap pub. But I don't know, I feel like it's so like in such a random area of Bristol. And also, this is a really specific thing to have about it. but I really get confused coming out of the basement and going up the stairs to the bathrooms because every corridor in the exchange looks the same, and I do get a bit lost. And no matter how many times I'll go there, I will always get lost.
I've never been in the basement before.
It is really lovely. I've performed there twice. That's where my headline was. But I don't know. Also, it's so small. It's a bit like again with the Louisiana, so hot. It is a boiling tiny room, and like as fun as it is to perform there, I'm so happy to like stand outside and feel the fresh air on my face.
I would give Exchange like 9 out of 10.
Yeah,
I've only ever been to see three gigs there. I saw Break for Lovers do two headlines there, and I saw the Pack of Animals headline last
yeah,
week.
I miss that.
But they play really good music before a gig.
They do. They do have good like playlists before.
Yeah, I think I judge a venue on how good the music is before a gig.
True. I don't know what I judge it off of. Just my like vibes I get when I go there. Like, have I had a good night there before, or have I had a terrible night?
If it's judging the music before a gig, the best venue is the O2 in London.
I've never been to the O2 in London. I've been to
They
the one in Bristol.
they played literally every. Hang on. A lot of Queen songs that night,
Nice. Nice. I love Queen.
but that venue's good. But
Yeah.
O2 Academy in Bristol. What's your score?
I feel like I'm being really generous with the scores, but again, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. I've been there once before. My first ever gig that I saw, I was 15, and I did see Youngblood live because I used to be a massive Youngblood fan. And then I'm hopefully, fingers crossed, going there tonight to see the Libertines play
Ooh.
with the drummer from Deep Sleep Dreamers. But we bought our tickets off quite a dodgy app, so we don't know if we're actually going to be let in. But we spent like 80 quid on them last night. So hopefully I'm going there tonight to see the Libertines.
Isn't it sold out?
That's the thing. We bought two tickets even though it said it was sold out. I will say alcohol was involved, so we weren't exactly thinking rationally.
Obviously, I'm gonna have to bleep this out, but where did you buy your tickets from? Oh shit. Is that the same website that was doing 6 grand for Oasis tickets? Oh god. Yeah, you're not getting in.
We're gonna try and talk to the bouncers before and be because it's a QR code, but most of the other Libertines tickets are barcodes. Oh, that's a song I wish I wrote. You're My Waterloo by the Libertines.
Okay. I would give O2 Academy 10 out of 10 because I went there once. I've been there once, which was literally on Saturday to see Wonder Horse.
Oh, I've been twice actually. I lied. I saw Conan Gray there when I was in college, and I got the ticket for free because my best friend's friend was ill, so she gave the ticket to me, and it was the day I got my braces put on. So the next day, my whole face hurt because I had my teeth hurting from the braces and my throat was sore from singing along. But Conan Gray did talk to me at that gig. Um, I was singing along to one of his songs, and he went, "Sing a bit harder," and then carried on. And I was like, he was insulting me, but he still noticed me.
Who's Conan Gray? I'm gonna have to Google this.
Um, he's very. I don't listen to his music a lot anymore, but I liked it a lot in like when I'm in like year nine.
Isn't he Olivia Rodrigo's friend?
Yeah, he is. I don't, no offense to Olivia Rodrigo fans, but I don't really like fuck with her music that much. Some of it's really good, but there's something about her vibe that feels very strange. I feel like she could be a rock star, but they're like Disney-fying her.
Yeah, I don't really listen to her music that much. It's just
It's kind of
whenever I go on TikTok to upload one of my videos, like
always Olivia
yeah,
Rodrigo. She's everywhere.
I in all of my interviews I ask this next question, but for the sake of this interview, I don't know if it will make any sense whatsoever. If you were trapped on a desert island with one member of your non-existent band, who would it be and why?
Not that Lulu. She's well annoying. But we're trapped on a desert island with her. Um, yeah. Probably not myself. I'll choose my an instrument. I'll choose an instrument to be stranded on a desert island with. Um, Probably my ukulele because that's the easiest one to play and it's very islandy, I feel like the sound of
Yeah. I would be trapped with my drum kit. Get me
it.
a drum kit and a pair of headphones that can plug into my iPhone, then I can just play some songs.
Be happy.
Yeah. What decade era does your music most resemble?
I think probably the 2010s because I write songs without considering other songs as inspiration, but when you listen back to them, I feel like they sound very Lily Allen, Kate Nash, that kind of like Britishness. And like I just felt like the 2010s as well with like Adrienne Lenker and who else was it songs that I sounded like? Obviously Amy Winehouse, but my songs don't sound like hers. Um yeah, just the 2010s, like think of like Lily Allen and Kate Nash, like pretty voices but quite aggressive lyrics.
I don't know who those two people are.
You know that song, I wanna be rich and I want lots of money. I don't care if
No,
I cry. Um, at first when I see you
no.
smile. Oh, they
Oh,
sound like me.
is Lily Allen the one that did the John Lewis advert from
Yes, she did a cover of
12 years ago?
yeah, she did a cover of
Keen.
Someone Only We Know. Yeah.
Yeah, because I like
That's it.
Keen. I
Yeah,
like them. I know who they are.
there we go. Lily Allen, M&S, John Lewis advert with oh, this is reminding me of A-level music tech. This was everything we talk about in those classes.
I didn't do A levels. I did UAL music, which is a step up from the BTEC as you would do in high school. Is level three music. Level
Yeah.
three, yeah, level three music.
I did two A levels and a B Tech. I did B Tech music in college and A level music tech, and then history, just to throw in a random subject because I had to do three subjects in college.
Yeah, because I did UAL, which was sort of like it's sort of similar to what we're doing now, but
Yeah.
like less of it.
Yeah, that's what my one was like as well
Yeah.
in college.
We did like these. They called them LP live performance workshops, sort of like what we did in semester one, where they'd give us a song that we'd have to learn, and then when it got to performance day, you'd hear that song like
Yeah.
6 or 7 times,
Yeah.
but then
Or
they'd switch all the bands around so that you're not with the bands you were rehearsing with, you're with different people, but you're playing the same song,
oh
and
my God.
it would give that very very different sound.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And there was one time I think we were doing "Are You Gonna Go My Way" by Lenny Kravitz,
Yeah.
and there was a 2 bar stop um, at the end of the second chorus before it goes back in with a guitar solo. There's a 2 bar stop. All the other bands did 1 bar, and I did the 2 bar stop as was rehearsed and as was written in the sheet music,
Yeah.
and it went horribly wrong.
Oh no. Oh, I can imagine. It's so hard playing with people that you've never played with before because
And
like
the
some
worst part is had to have a click track on in my ears.
oh
Like the only time I've ever had to have a click track on in my ears.
yeah.
Noise cancelling headphones. So I had kind of it like just very very like that, very
Yeah.
subtle like that, so I could still hear the rest of the band faintly, but it was bad.
That sounds traumatizing, honestly. I'd quit music.
That is the last time I played a gig in front of actual people.
Hmm.
My final question is if you could cover any song by a band you know and you have spoken to, i.e., a uni band, what would it be?
There's so many good songs. I'm gonna I'm gonna say one. Actually, no. I've got two that I really want to do by Deep Sleep Dreamers. I really like Eulogy, and I feel like that's suited to me. But if I was to give you my heart on my chest, honest answer, it would be Fetch Me Their Heads by Deep Sleep Dreamers because that's the kind of music I listen to. I listen to a lot of Limp Bizkit and stuff, so I like heavier things. I just don't sing it. So if I had the chance to cover any of them, it would be Fetch Me Their Heads in another life where I'm not as sleepy as I am.
I I think you could cover hmm, probably Dead in the Ditch by Who Killed Bunny
Yeah,
because that is
but
the easiest one to cover.
yeah, and it's very my vibe as well, with the bit of ch tongue in cheek, bit of rudeness. Yeah, that's a hard to answer one. I'm happy with my answers though. I think I've got it.
So thank you very much for doing this interview with me.
Thank you for interviewing me.
If you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of stuff, more interviews, more of Lulu's future music potentially. And thank you very much for watching.